When God is about to give you something big, He will often stir your spirit in ways you cannot explain. Your nights will feel longer, your days will feel heavier, and the very air around you will seem to press with unseen weight. But that weight is not punishment. That pressure is not destruction. That fire you feel is not to consume you. It is to prepare you. Because when God is about to place something mighty in your hands, He first stretches your faith to match the size of the blessing. He does not put heavy crowns on weak heads. He strengthens the vessel before He pours the oil. And someone listening right now, you are in that season where it seems like everything is shifting, everything is tightening, everything is demanding more of you. Do not mistake this as abandonment. It is divine preparation. When God is about to give you something big, He does not whisper it in a casual tone. He shakes your very existence until you cannot remain the same. You will find yourself restless, not satisfied with the things that once comforted you. You will feel a stirring, a longing, a hunger that cannot be explained by earthly desires. That is God enlarging your capacity. Because if He gave it to you while you were still small in spirit, you would mishandle it. If He poured it into your life when you were still tied to old ways, you would lose it. God does not bless where faith is absent. He blesses when you are aligned with His will, and when you are ready to carry what He places on you. Think about it. Before the rain comes, the sky grows dark. Before the harvest, the farmer feels the ache of waiting. Before the breakthrough, the wall looks taller than ever. That is exactly how God works. He lets you feel the weight of waiting, so that when His hand moves, you will know without a shadow of a doubt, it was God and God alone who gave you that blessing. He does not give little when He has promised much. And if the wait has been long, it is only because the blessing is greater than what you imagine. Many of you listening are standing at the edge of something you cannot yet see. You feel it. You sense it. You cannot explain it to your friends because they do not understand. They look at your struggles and they say, "Why don't you quit?" They see the closed doors and they whisper, "Maybe this is not for you." But deep in your spirit, you know God has not brought you this far to leave you empty-handed. He has not allowed the battles, the sleepless nights, the tears, and the confusion for nothing. Every tear was watering the ground for your harvest. Every disappointment was chiseling your heart for greater faith. Every setback was shaping your spirit to carry something bigger than you ever thought possible. When God is about to give you something big, you will notice that the enemy begins to fight you harder. The attacks will intensify, the resistance will multiply, and you will feel as though everything is collapsing around you. But that is not a sign of defeat. It is a sign of coming breakthrough. The enemy does not fight empty vessels. He fights the ones carrying divine assignment. If hell is shaking in your direction, it is only because heaven is preparing to open in your favor. That battle you are in right now is confirmation God is about to place something in your life so powerful, so transforming, that it will silence every lie spoken against you. Do not be deceived. God does not operate on your timeline. He does not rush because you are anxious. He does not delay because He is uncertain. He moves at the exact moment when your faith and His purpose collide. If He gave it to you too early, you would not know how to sustain it. If He gave it too late, you would think your efforts produced it. But when He gives it right on time, you will fall to your knees and say, "God, only You could have done this." And I want to tell you today, you are closer than you think. That pressure you feel is not the end. It is the signal that something is about to be born. A woman in labor does not cry because she is dying. She cries because something is about to come forth. You are in the labor pains of destiny. You are in the stretching season of faith. And the bigger the pain, the bigger the promise. God would not let you feel this level of fire if the blessing was small. He is refining you for something monumental. So lift up your head. Wipe the tears from your eyes. Refuse to let discouragement speak louder than faith. Stand in the middle of the storm and declare, God, I trust you. Even when I do not understand, I trust you. Even when it hurts, I trust you. Even when the doors remain shut, I trust you. Because I know when you move in ways that no man can stop, no devil can block, and no circumstance can reverse. When God is about to give you something big, He demands that you release the small. He cannot fill a hand that is still clinging to crumbs. He cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. And many of you, the reason you feel lost, the reason people are walking away, the reason old opportunities are shutting down, is not because God is punishing you. It is because He is making space. He cannot give you the great if you are still holding on to the good. He cannot give you the abundance if you are still satisfied with survival. He cannot give you destiny if you are still stuck in comfort. And that is why this season feels lonely. That is why doors are closing. That is why some friendships have ended. God is not subtracting from your life. He is clearing the ground for an overflow. He is pulling out the weeds before He plants the harvest. He is cutting away the shallow so He can build the deep. And though it hurts now, one day you will look back and say, God, thank you for every no, because it made room for your greater yes. When God is about to give you something big, He often allows you to walk through a season of silence. You cry out, and it seems as though no answer comes. You pray, and the heavens feel like brass. You look for signs, but all you see is stillness. Yet that silence is not God ignoring you. It is God working behind the veil. Just because you do not hear His voice does not mean His hand is not moving. A farmer does not hear the seed while it is underground, yet in silence it is breaking, sprouting, and preparing to rise. And so it is with you. God is breaking open your life in hidden places, preparing you for a sudden rise you cannot yet see. When God is about to give you something big, He allows opposition to test you. Why? Because blessing without testing produces arrogance, but blessing after testing produces humility. He allows resistance to shape your strength. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed under pressure. Gold is not purified by soft winds. It is refined in fire. And so, the pressure you feel, the fire that burns around you, is not there to destroy you. It is there to prove you. It is there to show that you can carry what He is about to give you. For if God allowed you to step into greatness without being tested, that greatness would crush you. But when you are refined through difficulty, you are not only ready to receive, you are ready to sustain. Think of it, when the storm rages, trees grow deeper roots. When the river overflows, the rocks remain unmoved. When the furnace is hottest, metals are shaped. God uses the very challenges that frighten you to prepare you. Do not curse the storm. Do not despise the fire. Do not run from the pressure. For these are the very signs that you are standing on the threshold of something extraordinary. God is shaping you to carry the weight of glory. He is enlarging your capacity to hold the blessing. When God is about to give you something big, He often strips away the false supports in your life. Those people you thought you needed, He removes them. Those opportunities you leaned on, He closes them. Those habits you clung to, He cuts them off. Why? Because He wants you to know that when the blessing comes, it was not by their hand, not by their favor, not by your own cleverness, but by God alone. He desires no competition for His glory. He wants the testimony of your life to be one that points only to Him. That is why the path feels lonely. That is why certain voices are silent. That is why certain doors no longer open. Because God is weaning you off dependency on man, so that your faith is anchored in Him alone. And I say to you with all boldness, do not mourn what God has removed. Do not cling to what He has taken. Do not chase after what He has closed. Because the very thing you think you lost was too small for what He is about to give. If it could contain your destiny, God would have let it remain. But because He is preparing something bigger, He had to pull it away. Let go of the ashes so that you can receive the crown. Release the broken so you can hold the whole. Trust that every subtraction was making room for multiplication. When God is about to give you something big, He magnifies your faith through delay. Delay is not denial. Delay is discipline. Delay stretches your patience, enlarges your trust, and deepens your dependence on God. Too often, we want immediate answers, instant doors, quick success. But what comes quickly often leaves quickly. What is birthed through waiting is sustained through endurance. And so God trains you to wait. He teaches you to walk by faith, not by sight. He shows you that the unseen hand is more powerful than the visible world. Do not despise the delay. It is the womb of destiny. And hear me, the longer the delay, the greater the manifestation. If God is taking His time with you, it is only because what He is preparing is greater than what you imagine. You may have thought He would give you a little, but He intends to give you overflow. You may have thought the door would be small, but He is building a gate. You may have thought the blessing would touch you, but He is preparing it to overflow to generations after you. This is why you must not faint in the waiting. Do not measure your future by the silence of the present. God is never late, never early, always on time. When God is about to give you something big, He deposits visions in your heart that scare you. He shows you dreams too large for your resources, callings too high for your strength, assignments too heavy for your ability. Why? Because He wants you to know that this is not a man-made dream, it is a God-sized vision. If you could achieve it on your own, it would not require His power. But when you look at it and say, God, I cannot do this without you, then you are in the right place, because the blessing He is preparing for you is not to glorify your name, but to magnify His. And so, do not shrink when the vision looks bigger than you. Do not run when the calling looks heavier than you. That is exactly the evidence that it is God ordained. He never gives small assignments to those who trust Him. He calls you higher than your ability so that His power can carry you. He stretches you beyond your strength so that His strength can be revealed. If you feel weak, then you are in the perfect place for God to show Himself strong. When God is about to give you something big, He shakes everything around you that is not rooted in Him. The ground will tremble, the structures will sway, the false foundations will crumble. It feels terrifying, it feels unstable. But it is necessary, because if He built your blessing on unstable ground, it would collapse. And so, He shakes everything until only what is unshakable remains. And when He finally places the blessing in your hands, you will stand secure, unmoved, unbroken, because your foundation is God alone. This is why you must not panic in the shaking. Do not cry, God, why is everything falling apart? Say instead, God, I trust that you are securing my foundation. Because the greater the building, the deeper the foundation. The higher the tower, the stronger the base. And if God is preparing to build high in your life, He will dig deep first. Let Him dig, let Him shake, let Him remove what is unstable. For when He is finished, nothing will be able to topple what He places in your life. When God is about to give you something big, He will make you walk by faith into unfamiliar territory. He will call you out of the familiar, away from the comfortable, beyond the predictable. You will find yourself in new places, meeting new people, facing new challenges. This is not to frighten you, it is to stretch you. God does not grow you in the shallow end. He teaches you to swim in deep waters. And though your feet cannot touch the bottom, His hand will never let you drown. So, if you find yourself in places that feel strange, seasons that feel uncertain, situations that feel overwhelming, rejoice. It is a sign that God is enlarging you for something big. Growth never feels easy. Destiny never feels safe. But it is in the deep that faith is proven. And if He has led you here, He will sustain you here. He did not bring you this far to abandon you. He brought you here to show you His power. When God is about to give you something big, He often allows you to stand in places where your own strength fails. He will bring you to the edge of the Red Sea in your life, where behind you the enemy presses hard, and before you the waters seem impossible to cross. Why does he do this? Because it is in the impossible that his power is revealed. If the way was easy, you would have thought it was your own wisdom. If the door opened by the hand of man, you would have given man the credit. But when God places you in a place where no one else can help you, where no solution can be found, where only his hand can make a way, then when the waters part, you will lift your hands and declare, "It was God alone." This is why you must not fear the impossible places in your life. Do not panic when you see no way forward. Do not despair when your back is against the wall. These are the very signs that you are in position for a miracle. For when God is about to give you something big, he often lets the situation look hopeless, so that when he moves, there will be no doubt who was in control. You may not know how, you may not know when, but you can be certain of this: God has not led you here to leave you. He has not brought you into the storm to let you drown. He has placed you here to show you his glory in a way that will leave you speechless. When God is about to give you something big, he refines your words and your thoughts. Suddenly you cannot speak like you used to. You cannot entertain the same negative conversations. You cannot allow doubt to take root in your mind. Because the size of your blessing requires the discipline of your tongue and the purity of your thoughts. God will nudge your spirit when you complain. He will correct you when you speak defeat. He will convict you when you allow fear to dominate your heart. Why? Because he knows the power of life and death is in the tongue. He knows that the way you think will shape the way you live. And if you are to carry something great, you must learn to speak with faith and think with clarity. This is why you will notice in this season that your spirit grows restless with negativity. What once entertained you now burdens you. What once seemed harmless now disturbs you. That is God sanctifying your inner life for the magnitude of what he is about to place in your hands. He cannot pour great blessing into a vessel filled with toxic thoughts. He cannot release abundant favor into a life filled with careless words. He must clean the inside before he fills it. And so, if you feel that tug, if you sense that conviction, do not resist. It is the evidence that you are being prepared for something higher. When God is about to give you something big, he stirs up courage in your spirit. He will not allow you to remain timid, weak, or passive. He will demand that you stand strong, that you refuse to bow to fear, that you declare boldly what he has promised. Because greatness is not given to those who shrink back, it is given to those who step forward in faith. You may tremble, but you will not fall. You may feel fear, but courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to trust God more than you trust your feelings. And so, God will put you in situations that require boldness. He will call you to speak when you want to stay silent, to move when you want to stand still, to act when you want to retreat. For this is how he builds courage in you. Do not despise those moments of trembling. Do not despise those times you are pushed beyond your comfort zone. That is God pulling out the warrior inside of you. That is God teaching you to fight with faith. And understand this: the greater the blessing, the stronger the courage required to sustain it. For when you step into something big, opposition will come. Critics will rise. Envy will grow. But when God has trained your courage, you will stand firm, unmoved, unshaken, declaring, "I will not fear, for my trust is in God." When God is about to give you something big, he sharpens your discernment. Suddenly, you see through people's masks. You notice the deception behind the smile, the hidden agenda behind the kindness, the jealousy behind the words. This is not to make you suspicious of everyone, but to guard you from the traps of the enemy. For big blessings attract big opposition, and the enemy often works through those closest to you, those you least expect. But God, in his mercy, begins to sharpen your sight. He opens your eyes to see what others cannot. He whispers to your spirit when to step forward and when to step back, when to embrace and when to release. This is his protection, ensuring that what he places in your hands is not stolen by wrong associations. So, If you feel distance growing between you and certain people, do not fight it. If God is pulling you away from circles that no longer feed your spirit, do not resist. If He is showing you the truth about someone's heart, do not ignore it. This is not cruelty, it is mercy. It is God shielding you from the wrong voices, so you can walk in alignment with His purpose. The bigger the blessing, the more focused the circle must be. And sometimes that means walking alone for a season until God connects you with the right voices for your next level. When God is about to give you something big, He demands obedience in the small things. Do not think that greatness is only built in grand stages. No, it is proven in the secret acts of obedience. The quiet, yes, when no one is watching. The small steps of faith when no one applauds. The discipline to pray when it feels dry, to believe when it looks dark, to sow when it feels costly. God watches the small acts. He measures your faithfulness in the hidden moments. Because if you cannot obey in the small, you cannot be trusted with the great. Do not despise the little tasks God places before you. Do not grow weary in the hidden service, for every act of obedience is a seed in the ground. And when the time comes, the harvest will overwhelm you. Big blessings are never random. They are the result of consistent obedience. What you do in secret, God will reward openly. What you give in silence, God will multiply in public. What you sacrifice in private, God will honor in ways that will shock even your enemies. When God is about to give you something big, He births perseverance in your soul. He teaches you not to quit. He strengthens your heart to endure. Because the path to greatness is never straight, it is filled with turns, delays, setbacks, and trials. And without perseverance, you would give up before the promise arrives. But God, in His wisdom, allows the journey to be long enough to shape you, difficult enough to mature you, and uncertain enough to keep you dependent on Him. This is His way of ensuring that when you finally receive, you are not fragile but fortified. Hear this: the enemy cannot stop what God has ordained, but he can try to make you quit before you reach it. That is why perseverance is your weapon. That is why endurance is your shield. The blessing is certain, but the question is, will you stand long enough to see it? Will you endure long enough to hold it? Will you refuse to give up, even when everything around you says, quit? If you can endure the night, the dawn will break. If you can hold on through the storm, the rainbow will appear. If you can keep walking through the valley, you will step into the mountain of promise. Perseverance is the bridge between prophecy and manifestation. When God is about to give you something big, He places in your spirit a peace that does not make sense. The storm may rage, but deep inside there is calm. The winds may blow, but within there is stillness. The world may shake, but your heart rests secure. This peace is not the absence of trouble. It is the presence of God in the midst of trouble. It is His way of telling you, I am with you. Do not fear. Keep walking. And this peace is your anchor. When doubt rises, it steadies you. When fear whispers, it silences you. When chaos surrounds, it guards you. Do not ignore this peace. It is God's confirmation. It is His assurance that no matter how it looks, His plan is unfolding. Trust that peace. Follow that peace. It is the compass that will lead you into your blessing. When God is about to give you something big, He will require you to release your grip on control. One of the hardest lessons a believer must learn is that you cannot manipulate the timing of God. You cannot force His hand, nor can you bend His will to suit your impatience. God is not moved by your calendar, He is moved by your trust. And so He allows seasons where every plan you have built crumbles, every strategy you thought would succeed fails, and every safety net you once relied upon disappears. Why? Because He wants you to know that when His blessing comes, it is not because of your control, it is because of His sovereignty. This surrender is not weakness, it is the highest strength. To say, God, I release my plans for yours, is not defeat, it is victory. Because your plan may be good, but His plan is perfect. Your strategy may open a small door, but His strategy unlocks an entire future. Your wisdom may carry you for a season, but His wisdom establishes you for eternity. Let go of the illusion that you must orchestrate everything. Trust that God has already written the script of your blessing. He knows the beginning from the end. He knows which doors to close and which to open, which voices to silence and which to amplify. Stop wrestling for control and start resting in His control. When God is about to give you something big, He cultivates patience in the deepest part of your soul. Patience is not simply waiting. It is waiting without complaint, waiting without doubt, waiting with trust. It is holding on with peace in your spirit, even when the visible evidence looks contrary. And understand this, the size of your patience is often a mirror of the size of your blessing. If God is asking you to wait longer than others, it is only because He is preparing something greater than others. Do not despise the waiting room. It is sacred ground where faith matures, where hope strengthens, where character is forged. Look around you. Those who rush into blessings often see them vanish. But those who wait on God walk into blessings that cannot be shaken. God will never allow patience to be wasted. Every second of your waiting is building endurance for the weight of what is coming. And one day soon, you will realize the wait was not a delay, it was a preparation. The longer the roots grow underground, the stronger the tree stands above. So if God is stretching your patience, rejoice. Something mighty is about to break forth. When God is about to give you something big, He ignites in you a hunger for more of Him. Suddenly, the shallow no longer satisfies. The distractions that once filled your time lose their grip. You find yourself longing for His presence, desiring His voice, craving His guidance. That hunger is not accidental. It is divine, because the blessing you are about to receive cannot be carried by talent, money, or connections alone. It can only be carried by intimacy with God. And so, He draws you closer. He pulls you into prayer. He awakens you in the midnight hours to whisper into your spirit. He increases your thirst so that when the blessing comes, you will not worship the blessing. You will worship the giver. Do not ignore that hunger. Do not drown it with noise. Do not distract it with temporary pleasures. That longing is holy preparation. Feed it with prayer. Strengthen it with meditation. Guard it with obedience. Because the more you seek God, the more capacity you have to carry His blessing. And the more you desire Him, the less the blessing itself can corrupt you. For blessings are dangerous when they take God's place. But when your hunger is fixed on Him, the blessing only multiplies your worship. When God is about to give you something big, He positions you in the presence of opposition to sharpen your spirit. You may wonder, why are so many against me? Why do I face so much resistance? Why does it feel like people are rising to block me at every turn? Do not be discouraged. God uses opposition as a chisel to shape you. He allows resistance to build resilience. He places you before enemies not to destroy you, but to display His power in you. Without enemies, there can be no victory. Without resistance, there can be no breakthrough. Without opposition, there can be no testimony. And so, lift your head in the face of opposition. Say, God, I will not fear, for if you have allowed this, you will use it for my good. Understand, this opposition is not a sign that you are forgotten. It is proof that you are chosen. The enemy does not fight those who are empty. He only fights those who carry something worth stealing. The greater the blessing, the fiercer the battle. But the fiercer the battle, the louder the victory. And soon those who rose against you will see with their own eyes that God was on your side. When God is about to give you something big, He refines your priorities. Suddenly, you can no longer waste time on meaningless pursuits. You cannot live carelessly, distracted by the trivial, consumed by the temporary. God awakens you to the value of time, the weight of purpose, the urgency of destiny. He teaches you to walk wisely, to choose carefully, to invest your energy in what truly matters. Because blessings require stewardship, abundance requires focus. And if you are careless with your time, you will be careless with your blessing. This is why in this season, You may feel pulled away from old habits, old patterns, old distractions. Do not resist this shift. It is God's way of clearing your path. He is teaching you to number your days, to value your hours, to walk with purpose. Because when the blessing comes, you cannot afford to be entangled in what does not matter. The higher He lifts you, the more disciplined your life must become. And if you embrace that discipline now, you will be ready when the doors open. When God is about to give you something big, He increases the fire of adversity to expose what cannot go with you. The heat of trials reveals the cracks in your foundation, the impurities in your character, the weaknesses in your spirit. He does this not to shame you, but to cleanse you, because if He gave you the blessing without exposing these flaws, they would later destroy what He gave. And so He uses the fire to purge. He uses the trial to refine. He uses the adversity to burn away the unnecessary. Rejoice in the fire, for it is not your enemy. It is your purifier. Do not curse the flames, thank God for them. For though they burn, they do not consume. Though they hurt, they heal. Though they strip, they strengthen. And when you emerge from the fire, you will not only be ready to carry the blessing, you will shine with a glory that can only come from having walked through the furnace with God's hand upon you. When God is about to give you something big, He instills in you a vision of the future that contradicts your present. You may be surrounded by lack, but He shows you abundance. You may be living in obscurity, but He whispers of influence. You may be pressed by weakness, but He reveals strength. This vision is not a fantasy. It is prophecy. It is God planting in your heart the picture of what He is preparing. Hold on to that vision, no matter how impossible it looks. Because the vision is the seed of your blessing. Guard it fiercely. Do not let doubt steal it. Do not let mockers shame it. Do not let fear bury it. For the vision is your lifeline in the storm. It is the rope that pulls you forward when all else says quit. And in time, that vision will speak. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come. God does not tease with empty dreams. If He placed it in your heart, He intends to fulfill it. When God is about to give you something big, He surrounds you with signs. Signs in your spirit, signs in your circumstances, signs in the whispers of prayer. You begin to sense alignment, as though pieces are falling together in ways you could not have arranged. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. God often signals His movement with patterns that echo in your life. Watch carefully. Listen closely. The signs are there not to give you control, but to give you assurance. Assurance that though you cannot see the whole picture, He is guiding every step. And when the day finally comes, when the blessing manifests, when the door swings wide, you will realize it was worth every tear, every wait, every trial. You will look back and understand why God had to strip, why He had to delay, why He had to refine. Because without those seasons, you would not have been ready. But now, because you endured, you are prepared to receive. And not only receive, but to sustain. Beloved, when God declares that He is making all things new, it is not a poetic whisper. It is a divine decree that carries the full weight of His power. God does not speak in vain. His words are creative forces. They shape destinies, overturn curses, dismantle chains, and open doors that no man can shut. When He says your past is over, He means that every mistake, every wound, every regret, and every sin that once tried to bury you is no longer your identity. God has severed the ties of yesterday and called you into the promise of tomorrow. Too often, we drag yesterday's ashes into today's fire, forgetting that God has already burned away what once bound us. The enemy thrives on your memory of failure, but God thrives on your faith in His renewal. He wants you to stop gazing at the ruins of what once was and start walking toward the city He is building for you. The old has been buried. God has planted you in new soil. Do not let the shadow of yesterday block the sunrise God has placed before you. Understand this: when God makes something new, He does not patch up the old. He does not remodel brokenness. He resurrects purpose. He does not simply polish what is worn out. He breathes life where death had claimed victory. God's renewal is not partial. It is complete, overflowing, transformative. He will give you new strength, a new vision, a new spirit, and a new song to sing. But you must be willing to release the old. You cannot hold on to the weight of your past and expect to run into your future. Beloved soul, God is calling you higher. He is calling you to let go of the bitterness, the unforgiveness, the fear, and the doubt that cling to your heart. Do not let the chains of the past define your freedom. God has already opened the prison gates. Why linger in the cell when the light of His renewal is waiting outside? When God says, your past is over, He is not just canceling what hurt you, He is rewriting your story. Think of the storms you have endured. Think of the tears that have watered the soil of your nights. Do you not know that God has seen every drop? Do you not know that every trial was preparing you for a greater glory? What felt like loss was often protection. What felt like delay was divine preparation. God was not silent, He was shaping. He was not absent, He was near, carrying you when your own strength collapsed. And now He whispers, rise, for I am making all things new. Do not fear stepping into the unknown, for the unknown is only unknown to you. To God it is already written, already prepared, already blessed. He has gone before you. He has smoothed the path. He has ordered your steps. Your responsibility is not to worry about what tomorrow holds, but to trust the one who holds tomorrow in His hands. The past may have scarred you, but God will use those scars as signs of His deliverance. They will not be marks of shame, but testimonies of His power. The pain you endured will become the wisdom you carry. The betrayals you faced will become the discernment that protects you. The losses you mourned will become the blessings you thank Him for tomorrow. This is the beauty of God's renewal. He wastes nothing. Every valley you walked, every mountain you climbed, every desert you endured, God folds it into the masterpiece of your life. So lift your head. Do not bow to yesterday. Stand firm, knowing that God has declared you free. Your past is not a chain, it is a classroom. Your failures are not a prison, they are stepping stones. Your wounds are not curses, they are evidence of survival. And survival under the hand of God is not mere existence, it is victory. Yes, God is making all things new. He is restoring, redeeming, refreshing, and rebuilding. Let the old die, let the past fade, let yesterday be buried. Step into the dawn with faith, for the God who spoke the universe into being is speaking into your life now. Behold, I am making all things new. My beloved brothers and sisters, listen closely, for the hand of God is not short that it cannot reach you, nor is His mercy scarce that it cannot cover you. Every trial, every storm, every wound of your past is not the end of your story. It is the soil in which God plants the seeds of your future. Do not look back at what has been broken as though it cannot be restored. God, the one who breathes life into dust, can take what was shattered in your life and make it whole again. Do not allow regret to chain your spirit. Do not allow bitterness to poison your heart. Do not allow fear to dim the fire of your soul, for the same God who lifted His servants out of the darkest pits will lift you too. He turns ashes into beauty, sorrow into strength, and weakness into power. He is the one who says to the weary, do not despair of my mercy, for I forgive all sins. That means nothing from your past has the authority to cancel your future when God Himself has chosen to make all things new for you. You may feel unseen, but God sees you. You may feel forgotten, but God remembers you. You may feel like the doors are closed, but the keys are in the hand of the Almighty, and when He wills, no power on earth or in the heavens can keep the door shut. You may have stumbled, but falling is not the end. Rising with God's help is the beginning. Understand this truth: when God renews, He does not simply patch the broken pieces. He creates something greater than what was before. He molds your pain into wisdom, and your loss into compassion, and your struggle into unshakable strength. What you thought was the end of you was actually the preparation for the new you God is forming. So, Walk boldly into tomorrow with your trust anchored in the Almighty. Leave the weight of yesterday behind, for the God who split the sea for his servants can split your troubles wide open. The one who provides for the bird in the sky and the fish in the sea will not abandon you. If he watches over the smallest of his creation, will he not watch over your destiny? Lift your head high, child of God, for your past is over. A new season is unfolding. The author of your life has turned the page, and what is written ahead carries blessings, strength, and divine favor. Do not fear what lies before you, for the one who holds tomorrow is the same one who carries you today. My beloved, let us go even deeper into this truth. When God declares that He is making all things new, it is not a suggestion, it is not a possibility, it is a divine decree. God's word does not return empty, it accomplishes what He sends it out to do. That means when He speaks renewal over your life, no force in this world can stop it. No enemy, no betrayal, no failure, and no wound can stand in the way of God's power to make things new. He is the creator of beginnings, the author of destiny, and the one who brings beauty out of ashes. Some of you have lived so long with the memory of your mistakes, with the heaviness of your regrets, that you have begun to believe your past has the final say. But hear this clearly: your past is over when God steps in. God is not holding you hostage to the things you did or the things done against you. His mercy is greater than your shame, His wisdom is deeper than your confusion, and His power is stronger than every chain that once bound you. When God forgives, He doesn't just erase the record, He gives you a fresh page, a new life, a redeemed purpose. Do not let the shadows of yesterday block the light of what God is doing today. Too often, people carry burdens they were never meant to carry. They replay old conversations, revisit old wounds, and relive old failures. But God is calling you to rise up and step forward, because He is not dwelling in the ruins of your past. He is working in the promise of your future. He is already planting seeds of blessing in places where you only saw barrenness. He is already opening doors you thought were forever closed. He is already shifting things in the unseen, preparing you for a new chapter that you could not write on your own. Understand this: God makes all things new, not only to free you from what was, but to prepare you for what will be. Every ending is a setup for a greater beginning. Every closed door is God's hand guiding you to a better one. Every trial is shaping your strength, purifying your spirit, and positioning you for the very things you once prayed for. Do not fear the unknown, because what is unknown to you is already known by God. He has seen the path ahead, and He is leading you step by step into a future filled with His goodness. And let me say this with boldness: stop identifying yourself by what you lost, and start identifying yourself by what God is restoring. You are not your pain, you are God's beloved. You are not your past, you are God's chosen. You are not defined by what broke you, you are defined by the God who heals you. When you look in the mirror, don't see the scars of yesterday, see the evidence that God preserved you, carried you, and is preparing you for something greater than you ever imagined. My friend, the God who spoke light into darkness, the God who split the sea, the God who raised nations and humbled empires, is the same God who is speaking into your life today. Behold, I am making all things new. Believe it, receive it, walk in it, for your past is over and your future belongs to God. Beloved, as we come to the conclusion of this message, remember this eternal truth: God is the one who holds your past, your present, and your future in His mighty hands. Your past mistakes, your failures, your regrets do not define you. They were chapters in your journey, but they are not the final word of your story. The final word belongs to God, and when He speaks life, renewal, and restoration. Do not dwell on what has been lost, for God is preparing what will be gained. Do not weep over doors that have closed, for God is opening doors that no one can shut. Do not fear the unknown, for God has already written a future for you filled with wisdom, strength, and blessings beyond what you can imagine. Walk forward with courage. Lift your head high, because you are walking with the one who makes all things new. You are not abandoned, you are not forgotten, and you are not defeated. God is not through with you yet. What is behind you is finished, but what lies ahead is filled with promise, hope, and divine purpose. So go forth with faith, trust in God with all your heart, and leave the past where it belongs, behind you. For the Almighty has declared, "Behold, I make all things new." And when God makes things new, no power on earth and no force in the heavens can stop it. Your past is over. Your new beginning has already started. Walk in it, live in it, and give glory to God for it.